So we've spent quite a bit of time, my colleagues and I at the Human Technology Institute, working with some leading companies in Australia, as well as some leading government agencies, as well as some regulators, on what they see as the kind of key issues that are arising so far when it comes to generative AI, like ChatGPT, which is the most commonly used generative AI application at the moment in Australia and around the world. And it really boils down to about 5 key issues. The first is performance. So generative AI, like ChatGPT, is optimized for fluency, not accuracy. So when you see the output of ChatGPT, it writes basically really well. It writes in a very fluent way, it's easy to understand. And my point is that is precisely what it's trained to do. It's trained to be very easy to engage with, to have good, in a sense, conversational skills. It is not optimized for accuracy. And I can explain that if we have time for questions in a few minutes. But it means that there are very difficult problems that remain unsolved when it comes to making sure that it always produces accurate results. The second problem is that generative AI applications generally are trained on truly massive sources of training data. In the case of ChatGPT, they've tried to train it on as big a picture of the internet as they could possibly get, right? And so we know that includes quite a significant amount of legally protected information. So information that's protected by intellectual property law, by privacy law, by national security law and other laws, which means that there is a massive question mark about the lawfulness of those applications at all. At the moment, the most significant piece of regulator action is coming out of the United States. So the FTC is running a major compliance action against a number of those companies associated with generative AI on that very basis. And so there may be liability that also shifts to those individual companies that are using these applications if indeed they were found to engage in unlawful activity in the creation of those large language models. The third is input data, and this is probably the biggest risk that we're seeing at the moment. So you are most likely to get useful results from generative AI when you put as much specific information in as a prompt. So the danger there, and we're seeing this in a lot of the discussions with companies and government agencies, is that you have a relatively junior staff member who simply has ChatGPT as an open page tab on their browser, and they put lots of sensitive information in there, company information in there, and that tends to mean that they get better results. But that is literally handing that information over to OpenAI and some of its partners like Microsoft. And I'm not saying that they want to do bad things with that, but you may well have, as a company, very strict legal obligations about what you do with your client data and other sensitive information. And simply doing that outside of a walled garden, which is often a product, a paid product that some of these companies offer, exposes you to very, very significant legal risk.